honor to be back on the main stage of CPAC. It was 10 years ago in 2011 when I was a keynote speaker for CPAC up in Washington, D.C. And here I am today in my own hometown right here in Dallas, Texas. But I gotta ask you this. How is it that a young man born in a blacks-only hospital in 1961 that grew up in the old 4th Ward of Atlanta, Georgia, the same neighborhood that produced Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., can be standing on this stage before you, the great stage of conservatives here in the United States of America? You saw earlier when Joe Biden said, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. A week ago, we heard Maxine Waters and Representative Cori Bush talk about how blacks are not free in America. Well, let me tell you something. If you're a conservative in America, black, white, Hispanic, Asian, it doesn't matter. You are free. It's all about the constitutional principles and values that we believe in, that we honor, that we love, and that right now, in this time, it is your duty, it is your responsibility as a constitutional conservative to stand up for those principles and values. See, conservatism believes in the individual. The progressive socialists believe in the collective. They don't believe that you have the right or the ability to think for yourself. They believe that you have to follow along with whatever the current there is. But Thomas Jefferson once said that in matters of style, swim with the current. But in matters of substance, stand like a rock. And now in America today, we need more conservatives to stand like a rock, because that's how we make sure that we don't find our nation canceled for future generations, for our children and for our grandchildren. Now is the time, much as it says in the book of Esther. Each and every one of you here, each and every one of you watching, you were made for a time such as this. You were made for a time to stand in the gap for liberty and freedom. You were made for a time just the same as we remember here in Texas, where 183 stood on freedom's ramparts of the place called the Alamo. And a young 26-year-old, William Barrett Travis, wrote an impeccable letter on February 24th of 1836. And he said that there would be no surrender. He said that there would be no retreat. And in the face of the tyranny that we are looking at today, the tyranny that would continue to tell us to shelter in place, the tyranny that is paying people to stay at home instead of going out there and being part of the American dream and working and earning their own way, it is now our time to make that stand. To make that stand with no surrender, no retreat, for liberty and freedom. You know, I look out at this audience, there's quite a few white folks out there. But you know something? I don't feel one bit oppressed. I don't feel like a victim. Because as an American, as a Texan, I am a victor and not a victim. And as an American and a Texan, we all are victors. We are not victims. If we are going to make sure that America is not canceled, we have to set foot on this ideological battlefield on which we find ourselves. Back when things were not going very well in the American Revolution, George Washington turned to a young man by the name of Thomas Paine. And he asked Thomas Paine to write to the American people. And Thomas Paine wrote a simple pamphlet called The Crisis. And maybe y'all remember those impeccable words. That these are the times which try men's souls. When the summer soldier and the sunshine patriot will, in this crisis, shrink from their duties. But to those who will make a stand, they will deserve the love and admiration of all men and women. Now is your moment. that you will earn the love and admiration of future Americans, our children and our grandchildren, because you will ensure that America, the incredible ideal that enables me to stand here before you today, shall never be canceled. God bless you all.